Rise and shine!
It's espresso time!
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and successful people don't wake up every morning saying, yes, I'm ready for success today. But when you have a morning routine that inspires you, like watching one of these videos, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together, grab your coffee, and get ready for a shot of espresso from Tim Grover.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Do you think anyone can become a winner?
Winning is in all of us. That's what I would say. Listen, and we have wins every single moment.
Yeah.
And those are the steps that get us a little closer to what we want. We have a step. Every minute you have an opportunity to win. You really do. But with everything that's went on in the world in this past year, people forgot how to win. People don't even know what a win looks like anymore.
Right. What does it look like?
Yeah, people don't even know and so many times a win just comes by because there's a constant change, there's a constant shift. And now with the paradigm of the way everything is being handled now, you have to look at things completely different. Everybody's waiting for normal. A win doesn't look like what it used to look like anymore.
Right.
All right.
What does it look like now?
What does it look like now? For each individual, it's different. For each individual, it's different. For a lot of individuals, it's just like getting out of that routine that you were stuck in for so long. Mm-hmm. And did the pandemic allow you to take, you know what? Yeah, I was in a routine, but the routine wasn't getting me anywhere. I was in a routine of comfort. Mm. And the pandemic put a lot of people in a routine that was very uncomfortable, that they weren't used to. But it was a necessity. It was needed. You know, people always wish for this time during this thing that happened. I want to spend more time with my family.
And now they have it.
Now you have it. Okay. Schools aren't doing a good job with educating my kids. Uh-huh. Now you're homeschooling. All right. I'd love to work from the house.
Now you're doing it.
Now you're doing it. Now you have all these things going on that you wished you had, as you thought were wins, and for some people they were. And for others, you're just like, no. These are not wins. I do a lot of Zoom stuff at home, and I got a cat, and I got a very lively dog, and you'll see the cat run right across the screen. Fortunately, I don't have little kids in the house anymore, but trying to work and have them in the background, asking for school help, or you know, they're on their bandwidth, trying to study in their school stuff, and winning became a distraction. It became a distraction. And people were trying to balance all these different things and forgot, hey, this is what my win is. That you need to recognize what that win is now. And during the pandemic, it's not getting back to normal. It's getting beyond normal, figuring out what your next win is, how to place it, and how to continue to move forward on that win.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to talk about the setbacks, because so many people can relate to that. That gave us a nice little comfort thing. Everybody can use the pandemic as an excuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And then you have other people that thrive during that time. They're like, I got to find out a new way to win. Mm-hmm. I got to find out like a real new way to win. And you had some people that really won big during that time.
Absolutely. They stepped up.
They stepped up, yes. Mm-hmm. They stepped up, they saw the steps, and it was like, okay, are these steps stable? Are they unstable? It doesn't matter. Right. I got to climb them.
Right.
I got to climb them.
Achievers very rarely celebrate wins. We're not good at it. Achievers really struggle at celebrating wins, mainly because we're mission focused and what we've done is nothing compared to what we're capable of doing, right? It's like, okay, great, this little win, but I want to be up here, right? We're building the future. We want to be doing so much bigger things that this win doesn't feel like a big win compared to what we want to be creating and what we want to make. We've got this big vision, right? And so it just feels small. And I think that's actually helpful in most cases for achievers because it allows you to go off and achieve more, but it can also lead to a lot of unhappiness and dissatisfaction because if you never celebrate, you're never grateful, you're never focused on what you've actually done and built, then you're just constantly in go, go, go mode, but never actually feeling happy or fulfilled. I've struggled with celebrating wins. I think about when I hit 2 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. I didn't want it. People are asking me as we were leading up, what are you going to do to celebrate 2 million subscribers? Like, I didn't even think about it. Because 2 million subscribers didn't feel like a milestone. I was never aiming for 2 million subscribers, right? It's like, I want to have 10 million, I want to have 100 million. I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem. What's 2 million subscribers? But as people kept asking, okay, let me do something for the community. Let's do a live stream. So I ended up doing a live stream to celebrate with people. It was super fun, did a lot of Q&A. And then I went to go celebrate with a meal. And I think, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and take an hour off and I'm gonna go celebrate with a meal. And I went and I forget what I got. I went and got something. And as I'm eating it, like, you know what, this sucks. Like, I wanna go back to work. Like, I get more joy and happiness in doing the work than in celebrating the work, because the celebration for me is the work most of the time. The celebration for me, making this video and feeling like it's gonna touch somebody's life, hopefully it has an impact on you today, making this video is the celebration. More than, I don't even know how many subscribers I have on the Espresso channel. I don't know. Is it important? Yes, but not as important as doing the work. So I get the joy from the work. I think though we have these moments where when you feel low, when you feel down, that's when you need to really make sure that you're celebrating your wins. And when you're feeling up and ready to go, then you use that energy and you go. So I use the analogy of swimming. And hopefully this makes sense for you achievers out there, because that's probably who's watching this video. I think a lot of people will tell you that you're doing too much, that you're working too hard, and you're also thinking, man, but I could do so much more. Like, this is nothing compared to what I'm capable of. So the analogy of swimming. You want to swim forever. The goal is not to ever reach the island. If you reach the island, you're depressed. How many times have you hit your goal and then realized, oh, now what? You know, it's like a couple minutes of, hey, wow, we're hitting it, we're getting there, woohoo. But the real excitement is in the anticipation of getting the goal. Once you hit the goal, then what do? You know, now there's lack of clarity, lack of certainty, momentum stalls, right? Hitting the goal actually sucks. You want to keep going. So you're swimming forever. You want to swim forever. That's the goal. You never want to be able to hit your goal, because you got a mission and a vision that's beyond you. It's beyond your lifetime. It's beyond your capabilities in the present and the future. Like, it's inspiring because there's always something to learn and get better and improve on. So you want to swim forever. And when you're feeling strong and you're feeling bold and you're feeling courageous, you swim, and you swim faster and you keep going, and you're opening new worlds and discovering new territories, but we're not stopping because we want to swim. There will be moments though where you doubt yourself, where you feel like you can't swim anymore, where you get tired. And that's where it's okay to stop swimming and you look back on everything that you've done. You stop swimming and look at how far you've come. And that's what I see as celebrating the wins. You know, you're celebrating how far you've come. If you're watching this channel, you've probably grown a lot in the past year, 5 years, 10 years. Think of who you used to be. Think of who you used to be, where you came from. And you're not where you want to be yet, and you never are, but you've come a long way from where you were. And whenever you're feeling the doubt, the insecurities, the feeling like you don't belong, that you're not good enough, that's when you celebrate the wins of how far you've come. But when you're feeling bold, motivated, courageous, powerful, then the celebration doesn't do anything for you. It's like, okay, let's move forward. Like, I want to make more, right? Let's go. And so it requires a level of self-awareness. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling like you can go off and take on the world? Great, go, make, create. Celebrating could be a waste of time. But if you're feeling low, down, stuck, the celebration is probably the greatest gift that you could give yourself. The one extra thing I want to add to this is to remember the people around you as well. That as you build your company, as you build your team, as you build your community, it's not just about you. So now we've got 36, 37 people on the team. It's a team effort. And we've got all these people in my community who want to celebrate as well. And so by you not celebrating, sometimes you're cheating other people from celebrating as well. Because if you're a high achiever and you don't need the celebration because you're in a great state of mind and celebrating is not the thing, like you want to go create more from a healthy spot, not from a lack of worthiness or lack of self-love position, but you want to go create more. Sometimes your team needs a celebration. Sometimes your community needs a celebration, your customers need a celebration. So when I did the 2 million subscriber celebration, it wasn't for me, I didn't need it. I would have rather just kept making more videos or to use that time to make 2 or 3 more videos. But my audience wanted it. My audience needed it. My community were asking for it. And so it was a good chance to bring other people in. So think about the celebrations. If you're the highest achieving person in your group, in your friend circle, on your team, which you should be, because if the people on your team are higher achiever than you, they're probably not going to be on your team very long, because they're looking to you to pull them forward. Same thing for your audience, your customers, right? If they're higher achieving than you are, you're probably not going to keep them for very long. You're going to move on because they want to be pulled up by somebody else. So you're probably the highest achieving person in your circle. And so the people who aren't as high achieving, they need the celebration even more. And so just think of them. You think about what you need. So step 1 is the self-awareness to know that right now I need to celebrate because I'm feeling low on myself. I need to remind myself of everything that I've done. Or 2, I don't need it right now because I'm on top of the world and I just want to go create more. And then step 2 is thinking about the people around you, your team, your customers, your audience, your community, your family, your friends. Maybe you don't need the celebration. Maybe you don't need it, but maybe they do. And recognizing that this is not a solo effort, that you can't do everything on your own and you need their love, their support, their guidance, their connection, because they can do a lot more combined than you can do individually. And if they need it and you give it to them, everybody wins. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and just get motivated, you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's what the science says. And that is not good enough, Believe Nation. We need to do better. When you actually get motivated and then create a specific plan of action for what you're going to do this week, you have a 91% chance of following through. And when you publicly commit to somebody else, like leaving a comment below on this video, it jumps even higher. So I want that for you. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week so I can celebrate with you. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to build a habit. So I've created a special free program to help you where every day for 254 days, I will send you an email that has a link to an unlisted video that if you watch it will boost your confidence forward. The link to join for free is in the description below.
My very first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I want to get my head right. I do this thing called priming.
Stop resisting the natural flow of epic performance. Everything I didn't want to do is what got me to where I'm at today.
I think the thing that people misunderstand about success is they're looking for the easiest way to get there. And it's funny, how many books have you read, or I won't say promoted, but had on your show, and everybody goes 5 easy steps, 10 steps to greatness, 8 steps to this. And those steps for success, they're infinite. They are infinite. You cannot count them. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Those steps are constantly shifting. You don't know if they're there. Sometimes you have to trust that the next step is going to be there when you can't even see it. And sometimes when you step on that step, you go right into quicksand. But you got to be able to pull yourself back out of it again. So everybody's looking for these steps, and there are no steps. Those steps never end. And you just can't climb steps. Sometimes you got to crawl those steps, and you finally get to the top, and everything shifts, and you're at the bottom again.
It's crazy.
All right.
What does that mean? Sometimes you're at the top and then you're at the bottom again.
Well, you may get to the top and you're like, I'm here. And then you look back down and you look up again, you're actually on the first step. You're on the first step again. And where you thought was the top is not even the top. It's the beginning.
Wow.
It's literally the beginning of where you're supposed to be. And that's when most people just quit. It just drives me crazy because everybody's like, here to look at, people that I do the interview with, I always like to use them as an example because people can relate to that, all right? You've been climbing steps for how long to get to here?
I mean, since starting this, it's been over 8 years, but the journey before then, it was, decades to build myself, to prepare myself for this. And now I feel like I'm just getting started.
Right, exactly. So you have just, right, exactly. So all the steps that you climbed just to get started.
Yeah.
Just to get started. And people don't want to talk about those steps. They don't want to talk about those steps and how difficult those steps are and how many steps that you stumbled on and how many steps you didn't even see and how many steps that people placed in front of you and they pulled away. People that you were very close to, people that you knew.
Right.
That people that you thought that were like, hey, these people actually have my back, except, yeah, they did have your back, but they were actually pushing you down the steps.
For stabbing you there.
No, and it's funny when you talk about those things, or people talk about them, they seem surprised. But you should know that in that path, all those things are going to be there. Mm-hmm. They're going to be there. Life and winning is a bunch of sprints within a marathon.
That's a fact.
Yeah, there are a bunch of sprints within a marathon. And you can't see the end line. Like in a marathon, you know where the end line is. In winning, that race may have an end line, but there's another start line right after it.
Yeah.
And for people that are really driven, and this is not about money, and this isn't about fame. This is about, you could be winning as a school teacher, you could be winning as an entrepreneur, you could be winning in business, you could be winning as an athlete, as a waiter, whatever it is, a waitress, whatever it is. It's that every single time you sprint to that finish line, there's another start line that's coming. And that's why it never ends. It's a marathon that just keeps going, and going. And I try to tell people, listen, I'm not an avid runner. I used to be in my much younger days, not avid. I used to enjoy it. You see the times of the best marathons, they're running
Insane. They're basically sprinting.
They're sprinting.
Yeah.
They are sprinting. Everyone looks at the physical condition. Are you mentally prepared to sprint every single day? Are you mentally prepared to sprint every single day? And for how long? Because somebody else is sprinting. You don't want them to get what should be your win ends up being somebody else's win. In the book, Kobe said, winning is everything. It's everything. All right? And you sit here and if you talk to Mike, whatever Kobe would say, Mike would have to one-up him. Because there's still, the competition never stops. It's always about what's next, what can I win more at? Both those individuals, obviously Kobe's not with us anymore, but both those individuals, the competition and the desire and the feeling of winning, even though they were done with playing, manifested into something else. MJ, the most successful sneaker brand out there. All right. Owning a team, tequila business, in the sports gambling business. He's in all those things. All right. So the competition never stops. With Kobe, it was like, I'm going to win an Oscar. Go out and win an Oscar. Writing children's book. He literally, his goal, his plan was to take over Hollywood. He was like, I owned LA on the basketball court, and now I want to own LA. He wanted to take, that was his winning thing. Take the basketball out of it. Everyone knows I own LA on the basketball court. And we talked about this. He goes, own LA. Own LA. And if you look at the paths he was going through, that's what he was doing. That was his next definition of winning. When I started studying, everyone says, "Oh, you're going to be a gym teacher." I said, "No." I said, "I'm going to work with professional athletes." I knew what I wanted to do. I said, I'm going to work with professional athletes. So that was the goal I set in my mind, and I just said, hey, that's going to take a place in my head. That's the only thing that I want to do, and I got to figure out a way to get there. So I studied and learned my craft better than anybody else. Did I start with the professional athletes? No. After I graduated, I went to work in a local health club. Really, I knew everything from a book standpoint, but still, you got to know how to apply it. Okay, so I, worked with anybody I could.
These are not pros.
These aren't pros. I'm talking about housewives. I'm talking about individuals that just want to get in shape. People that have had injuries from different sports. Kids, anybody. Just kind of developing programs, implementing what I've learned, and actually being able to apply it. Mm-hmm. And once I started to look at that craft, I said, okay, now I'm starting to figure out how to actually apply this stuff and how to use it and put the formulas together and put the workouts together and do all these different things. I mean, stuff that they're doing now from a workout standpoint, I was doing 30 years ago.
Wow. So none of the stuff is new to you?
Some of the stuff is new. It's different. I stay on top of it.
Right.
All right, I got to continue to learn, continue to be better myself so I can better my athletes, better my craft. Mm-hmm. But it's just a different way of doing the same thing. Right now there's a lot more resources, a lot more education, a lot more testing available. Back then you kind of had to just figure it out. A lot of individuals now, okay, especially in this generation, not only from a training standpoint, but from a knowledge standpoint, they're jumping from one thing to another. Yeah. They're using this trainer this week, they're using another trainer next week, they're using this person as a mentor on YouTube, then they're using this person over here, okay, and they're getting all this conflicting information, okay? You gotta master what you're going to master, okay? You have to figure it out. Too many people are jumping from place to place to place. Michael, Kobe, all these individuals, they mastered one aspect of the game. When they mastered that aspect of the game, then they move to another aspect of the game. When people become successful, okay, they always say, I don't do that anymore. Well, what do you mean you don't do that anymore? You should do that and then some. Right? What do you mean you don't do that anymore? The most successful people know and can do it all. All right? Can do it all. Okay, Michael, you know what? When he played, he would go around, pick up the towels in the gym after practice, put the basketballs.
Really?
Put the basketball.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Okay. Kobe did the same thing. Put the basketballs away. All right. Do whatever's supposed to do. He practiced, got his own game gear together. Now people have these stylists and so forth. They put their clothes together. Yeah. Michael put his own stuff together.
Is that right?
It's just like handled his own tickets. Kobe did the same thing. So it's just like, hey, just because I'm now the superstar, all right, I still have to do the things that got me there because it reminds me of what I did and what it took to get to this level. How many times have you watched sports and they said the person's thinking too much? Stop thinking.
Yep.
Stop thinking. Just go out and play. Well, what happens when you tell an individual to stop thinking? What's the first thing they do? They start thinking. Yeah. Exactly. Do you know how many hours and years of preparation go into not being able to not to think about something? Okay. It takes years and years and years of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Okay.
To learn how not to think.
Not to think.
Wow.
To be able to take a reaction and turn it into a reflex. That's what the greatest can do. Most people react to things. Okay. The greatest, it's an instinct. It's impulsive. It's innate. It becomes a reflex. We talk about this. Listen. Trust your instincts. That's what closers do. You know what cleaners do? Their instincts trust them. I got this. I'll give you a great example about that and we'll pick up the other thing. All right. Doug Collins. coach of the Bulls, is drawing up this play. Okay, last second play, he's drawing. It's the Cleveland play, the one he beat Elo, right?
Yep.
So he's drawing up this play, all this other stuff. He's over and he races it. Michael turns around and said, "Hey, give me the ball, get the way."
In the timeout.
Yeah, after the time, before he goes, "Give me the ball, get the way." Okay, that's the don't think. Okay, that's the point where, hey, listen, my instincts trust me. Give me the ball, just get out the way. I'm winning this game. I'm winning this game. But that game-winning shot wasn't made there. It was made many years before. In the dark gym, by himself, with somebody rebounding the ball, whether it was me or somebody else, shooting that same shot over and over and over and over again, saying, no, if I get to this spot, I don't care if there's 10 hands in front of me. If I get to this spot, the shot's going in because I've done it over and over again.
Talk just for a second, because this just blew my mind. Is your dad, they come from India, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. And your dad, you're in the cab. You just get here. You're in the cab.
Just get here, yep.
And
my mom's already here.
Okay.
Established herself as a nurse.
Yeah.
And my dad, it was easier for my mom to get her license here as a nurse practitioner than it was for my dad to get his license as a doctor, all right, an MD. And he wasn't able to get the license. We still came over. We're sitting in the cab, and he's counting the money, and the meter gets to, I forget what the number was, and my dad tells the cab driver, stop.
And you're a little boy, right?
We're a little boy.
Yeah.
I was 4 years old. He said, stop. And we're like, what's going on? And my dad goes, hey, listen, we're in a new country. I want you to enjoy the scenery. So we get out, we grab all the luggage. Excuse me, I get real emotional doing this.
That's awesome.
And we're walking down the street.
That's awesome, brother. You got it.
Yeah. We're walking down the street with his luggage, and he's showing us a different scenery and so forth. Never knew he didn't have any more money in his pocket.
Wow. Amazing.
But he got us here.
Got you there. That's so powerful. You imagine that little boy walking down that street turns out to be you. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Your dad sowing those seeds into you.
Yeah, and there's moments like that that define you. Yeah. As long as you remember them. They can define you both ways. You can look at it and say, you know what? You can use that as an excuse. My dad came to this country, he didn't have any money, he never gave me anything, he never did this, and people do that. Or you can look at it and say, he gave us everything. Well, you know what? In the book Relentless, we talk about the don't think concept. Your skills are so finely good at what you do, whether it's trading, making business decisions, playing basketball, that you know if you do fail at something, it's just this little stumbling block. The next time you're going to succeed because you've done it over and over again, not only physically, but your mental preparation. The thing that makes individuals really, really special who are that great is they're always looking for that competitive edge. So it's interesting to see how a champion in sports, how it relates to a champion in business. It's the same mindset. It's about winning the battles, continuing to improve, learning new ways to stay ahead of the game. Clarity is what gives you the idea of success, being able to close those deals. When you can see and you can think and you can react with a clear mind, and you take your emotions out of it, you're in that zone. Getting the deal is just a byproduct, and the minute you get the deal, you're already thinking about what's next. People, they look at winning and finishing as the same. Those individuals that you're talking about, they're just looking to finish. They're just looking to finish their career. They're like, okay, this is what, I got this nice house. I'm finished over here. I made the NBA or made the NFL. That's finishing. And a lot of people to that, they're like, they feel like if they finish, they've won. These individuals, it's a completely different level. So you have individuals that go out and run marathons. You know, if you compete at the highest level and you're a person that just runs marathon, the chances of you winning that marathon are pretty much zero. But you're going to finish that marathon. But being able to finish that marathon puts you in a mindset to win at something else. So there's always what's next, what's next, what's the next thing that's going on. You know, we talk about what Kobe, one of his biggest lines is, you know, don't rest in the middle, rest at the end. Winners rest at the end. When you talk about people that just want to finish, just what you said, they rest in the middle. You have a lot of people in business, they're successful for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the team, they put up great numbers, but the team never wins.
Boy,
all right. You know, in business, when the owner or the CEO, when he wins, if he's a cleaner, everybody in that business, from the top person all the way down to the last person, they all win. Oh, wow. When sports, if you bring out the best out of all your teammates. You elevate not only your teammates, you elevate the equipment manager, you elevate the equipment manager, the staff, the people you have no idea, the people that handle the tickets. Everybody's game is elevated because they have to, because the cleaner's not going to come down to your level. You got to come up to theirs. So when you're choosing somebody, when you choose somebody to listen to, and you choose somebody to learn from, and you choose a business partner, you choose a client, they got to be as crazy and they got to be as you are. That's how you get success. That's how you know you're going to be able to push that individual. That's how you know that relationship is going to last. You know, people talk about in business or think, oh, you got to find a balance. You got to find that person. You know, if you're one way, you got to find a person that's the other way. No, that's pulling you away from how you want to do things, and how, if you're intense, the next person I want is to be as super intense. Now, those people around you, they got to be smarter than you are.
Right.
You don't want to surround yourself with people that, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get more people in the room.
Sure.
Okay. You should not walk into the room and ever be the smartest person in there. Okay. The people around you have to be much smarter, or at least in certain things. You may have an expertise in one thing, but that other individual better have an expertise that's beyond yours in something else. Okay. But from a mind standpoint, you know, MJ was just as I was. Kobe is just as I was, from being the best. Okay, I wanted to be the best at what I do. They wanted to be the best at what they do. All right?
So there was an attraction there.
It's an attraction, and those are the people that allow you to push them and allow them to. They understand. They want to get better. So we're both workout guys. We like to go to the. We like to go to the gym. All right. How many times have you seen people in the gym? They spend more time on their playlist, taking pictures, doing stuff instead of getting their workout done.
So true.
It's just like, you know. And here's the thing. All right, you're a very intense person. I can tell.
Right.
Okay, I'm a very intense person.
Yep.
All right, we value our time.
Yes.
Okay. How do you get results in the gym? It isn't about spending 2 to 3 hours working out. People say, I spent 3 hours. You didn't spend 3 hours. By the time you pulled into the parking lot, by the time you changed, got some breakfast, put your workout clothes on, talked to 8 people, did all that stuff, you were there for 3 hours. You did your 3 hours. No intensity. All right. People talk about, hey, you know, you post a couple of workout things, you're seeing you're a buff guy, or you're in great shape. All right, people say, Ed, I want to look like you. All right. They don't see what it takes to look like you. Not only in the gym, outside of the gym. The intensity that's there. You're in the gym, and I'm assuming you work out with music. You had some headphones on. You got to get a certain amount of stuff done in a certain amount of time. All right, you're in this intense stuff. Somebody comes up to you.
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't want to be rude to them, so now you take your headphones off. They ask you a question. They want to take a picture with you. Oh, I recognize you from so and so. And all right, and then the question is, how do I get to look like? Well, the one way you get to look like me is leave me there for long.
Stop asking these questions. Exactly.
And start hitting the weights. Start lifting.
Yeah.
It's the intensity that you have. It has to be in everything you do. You have to be an intense person in your workouts. The way you eat. Okay, that's intensity. How do you fuel up your metabolism rate so you're burning these calories so you can get that definition? That's intent. That's an intensity. How do you get to be successful? You know, oh man, he or she, he's so intense. No, you know what? He and she, That's how you're supposed to be. You're at a different level.
Right.
And that's why I said the intensity is so important. It's what really separates those individuals. And you can't get into that zone and you can't get arms and abs like Ed. All right, you can't do it unless you have that intensity and you're willing to block out the distractions. We have so much access now to information.
Yep.
It's literally at our fingertips, you know, everything, okay? Why are more individuals doing less?
You're right.
Because they're easily distracted.
When you want to excel at something, what must you have? Did I just hear somebody say passion in the audience? You know what passion is? Passion is an emotion. It's an emotion without an action. Passion will get you nowhere. Inner drive will get you nowhere unless you act on it. You have to act on your passion. You have to act on your inner drive. Don't let those feelings stay inside of you. You got to know what to do with them. You got to know how to make them work in order to get what you want. Don't keep it inside. Knowing that you're the best at what you do and you've done all your homework to get to that point. Relentless is about trusting your instincts, but the only way you can trust your instincts is if you've done your homework and your skill is so finely tuned at whatever you do. You have people in sports, you have the role players, and they're trying to step out and be superstars. And I always tell them, I said, you got to think about winning first. All right. If the team wins, you'll get paid. If the team doesn't win, you will not get paid. Okay. The bottom line is the end result. Just like when you guys close a deal, not only do you win, everybody underneath you who helps you close the deal, the company, it all ties in together. A great leader knows how to push buttons, how to push the buttons of different people. I totally disagree with that philosophy 100%. All right, I don't want to have somebody to have that much control over me where they're pushing my buttons. As a great leader, okay, what I do with my clients is I pull their buttons. And then I teach them in certain situations to know when to push their own buttons. Everyone's going to hit adversity.
Yep.
Okay? Everyone's going to hit adversity. It's how you deal with that adversity. And the key word is you, not letting somebody else deal with that adversity. You have to deal with that adversity. And how you deal with it. Are you going to fight through it, or are you going to curl up and just roll over into the corner? It's going to pretty much determine how the rest of your development from a mental standpoint is going to carry you. You know, people talk about this. People talk about this all the time. You know, losing builds character. Okay, well, how much character do you need? Seriously, all right. You want to keep losing. Hey, listen, I'd rather have a person win who has a little bit of character.
Yeah.
Okay, who's a little nuts, and a person that loses all the time and has got great character. At some point, you got to start winning. You can't always look for other people to help you. Other people got their own problems. They got their own they got to deal with. They're trying to achieve their own goals. They are willing to assist, but after a while, okay, if you constantly looking for assistance, constantly looking for help, it's on you. Your failure and your success is on you. Relentless is more than just a mindset. It's a skill set, it's a mindset, it's a way to kick ass. We talk about kicking ass and taking names. Well, when you're relentless, you've kicked so much ass, you can't remember all the names because it becomes irrelevant. The name that they remember is your name. That's what relentless is being about. It's not about others, it's about yourself. It's about taking yourself to a level that only few people can achieve. The mindset is completely different. It's about capturing other people's hearts and not letting them go. It's learning to step on their throat. It's about killing the competition. Your fiercest competitors are cutthroat individuals.
all they want to do is win, and they want to win over and over again. It's not just a one-time thing. Success is repeated many, many times. You can have a skill set to do a lot of things. Okay, you can train, you can read a manual, you can do all these different things, but a skill set only works if you have that mindset. Everyone talks about, I got passion, I got inner drive. You know what passion and inner drive is? It's absolutely nothing unless there's an action, a relentless action that follows it. And if you have that relentless action that follows your passion, that follows that inner drive you have, then you get that end result. Other than that, you just have a bunch of emotions that mean nothing. You have to keep yourself focused on whatever your ultimate goal is. There's stumbling blocks all the way. People get laid off, you have a bad game, you get traded from a team that you don't want to be with. But if your goal and your focus remains the same, that, hey, this is going to happen, and I know I have the skills and I have the knowledge and I have the instincts to dig myself out of this hole, you will dig yourself out of the hole. You have to control the situation. Don't let the situation control you. Decide, commit, act, succeed, repeat. The one thing that all the greats have in common is they sweat the small stuff. They pay very, very close attention to every detail. Michael used to sweat the details so much in his basketball game that it carried on into his personal life. The suit had to match the car he was driving that particular day. But what those details allowed him to do was to put him in the zone to be the best basketball player on that given night. The dark side is something that's in everybody, but it's a situation that you have to control the dark side. If it controls you, that's when things start to go real, real bad. That's when you have a tendency to go to what I call the other side. But if you harness the fuel that's from that dark side, whether it's anger, whether it's fear, and turn that into positive fuel, it'll help you really succeed at whatever you're trying to do.
It's interesting that you said that I know about winning. The reason I know so much about winning is because I've had to deal with so much losing.
That's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Everybody wants to win, but in order to know how to win, you got to know how to lose, because you're going to lose more than you're going to win. But every time you lose, what do you gain from it? So every time I've lost, people say, you got to jump right back up. You know, get back right on your feet again. And I disagree with that. After you lose, or when you get knocked down, stay down there for a minute. Understand why you lost. What were the reasons? Why are you down here? Why did you lose? Why did you get knocked down? Because if you just jump right back up, you're going to lose again and again, and you continue going to lose the same way. So every time I lost, I stayed down for a second, minutes, hours, days, weeks. But when I stood up, I was different. I was smarter. And when I lost again, I stayed down. I stood back up. I was stronger. When I lost again, I stayed down. How did I stand up again? I was more confident. Lost again. Stood up. I was more resilient. Now you start putting the pieces that are necessary to win over and over and over again. So if you lose and you jump right back up and you haven't really changed, really changed from that loss, you're never going to learn from it. And you're never going to really, truly know the unforgiving race to greatness, because that's part of the unforgiving part, is the losing part. That part is unforgiving. You just don't win in one arena. You win in your sports, you win in business, you win in your personal life. Other people win because you win. Mm-hmm. It isn't just about you. It's about being able to pull the team and show them what it feels like to win and what kind of feeling that gives. And when you win, your family wins. When your family wins, you win. When you win, your friends win, the people that have supported you. Every time Michael played, I always said this. I said this in The Last Dance. He would say, these individuals are giving me something that's way more valuable than the price of a ticket. They're giving me their time, which is non-refundable. Which is you can't exchange it with somebody else. You can't take your ticket and exchange it with another individual. These people are literally giving me their time. Whether they're at the arena, they're sitting in front of the TV, they're watching the news, listening to it on the radio back then, whatever it may be. My accountability to myself and those individuals has to be at the highest level. Has to be at the highest level because they're doing something that is they're giving me something that's so valuable. I have to be at my best. I have to be at my best. So what they're seeing, when they look in the mirror, they're just trying to see what's on the surface. But winning and losing wants to know what's inside of you. It wants to know what makes you tick. It wants to know what your desires are. It wants to know what your ego is. It wants to know what your limitations are. It wants to know what your mindset is. It wants to know everything about you because winning does not lie. When you look in the mirror, you can lie and see what's on the surface. You cannot lie what's going on inside. And that's what people are not willing to see. The lies that are truly going on inside of them that are not allowing them to win over and over, or sometimes even win once. You have to look, winning requires you to go so far deep inside yourself. It's way beyond the surface. It's way beyond internal. It's going to a place that a lot of people haven't visited in a long, long time because they're afraid to visit that person, because when they visit that person, they don't know who that person is anymore.
If you want another amazing video highlighting excellence in the Indian community, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.